Hello, Facebook. Hello, Twitter. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Internet. Hello, Analog, Afternet, wherever you are. Hello. Welcome to the Berkeley Poetry Slam. My name is Reggie, and I will be your host for this evening. We have, my favorite people on the planet featuring tonight, Tianna Bratcher. We have an amazing lineup of poets competing in our slam tonight. But before we begin, you know how it is. I have to thank the people that make this possible. Our supporters over on Patreon. It's been going on our third year online, um, bringing pandemic vibes and poeticness into your isolated lives just sitting at home. We're bringing poetry into your house and we're doing it for free and we're paying people to be here. What? Oh my fucking God. In other words, it costs a lot of money and these are the people that are making it possible for us to do the amazing work that we do. So I'd like to thank, in particular, Renee Edmonds, Stephanie Yeboah, Emily Chow, and Calla Lily for being regular supporters of us. I'd like to thank Jessica Kozakic for sponsoring one of our weekly workshops. And I'd like to send out a special thank you to Alice Grimm and Rebecca Abraham for pledging $100 a month in support of one of our venues, the Allen Bluford Center. Our average donation is about $11 a month, which means for the cost of less than a Netflix subscription, and fuck them because they raised their prices, you can support live art being streamed into people's homes as well as being here in person in the Bay Area. I don't know what else to say other than you should give us your money. Give us your Netflix money. That's all we're asking for is your Netflix money, not your bill money, your Netflix money. Like you don't want to give them $19 a month anyway, so give it to us. And the more that we get, the more that we do, the more that we're able to expand and grow and continue supporting the artist movement that is here in the Bay that is desperately fighting to survive the pandemic. Um, so thank you for helping us in that fight. Lit, cool. So we got our slam, and you know, a slam is a competition. There are points, there is money at the end, and for all of that to be fair, there, of course, are the rules. First, for our poets, y'all have 3 minutes with a grace period of 10 seconds to spit your own original work. After 3 minutes and that grace period of 10 seconds, you will be deducted points by our scorekeeper, Alexis. After 4 minutes, that's when it gets tricky because you get muted, I get spotlit, I'm not ready. I'm probably like halfway in between a drink of water. I choke, I die, the slam can't continue. In other words, do not go over 4 minutes, whatever you do. Next, for let's do the audience. Yes, you sitting at home. I need y'all to first follow us on whatever you're looking at, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. If we had Instagram up, Instagram. Um, we do a lot of shit, like a lot of shit. I don't even remember half of it. That's why we have to have apps in order to keep track of the things that we do. In other words, I don't expect you to remember anything that I can't remember myself. And that's why you have apps to help you keep up with the things that we do. And you should follow us on those apps. We do a lot of work, a lot of it, most of it, all of it is free for you to enjoy in your own home. So why not take advantage of that and follow us to know when we are streaming next, or when we have a workshop, or any of the stuff that we do. Lit. And then I need you to do me a big favor and make sure you show maximum love in the comment section of whatever stream you are watching. Um, it is really hard as an artist to not be able, especially a performance artist, to not be able to get engaged, that immediate like audience response. But I don't know about the other people, but I do go back and look at the comments in the live stream, and it just warms my heart every single time how much love and how much you really, really, really support these poets. And we do post some of those comments into the Zoom chat. So yeah, let them know how you feel. If there's a line that you're fucking with, let us know. If someone said something you really liked, let us know. If you really feeling the vibes, let us know. Just keep it cute because we fight and block people. So don't be an asshole. We are all love, all supported. Um, yeah. Lit. And then for the judges, y'all have the hardest job tonight. You have to judge these poems openly or semi-openly. You will be giving every poem a score from a 0.0 to 10.0 scale. 0.0 being the worst piece of shit you ever heard in your life. It's like trash on top of trash on top of feces on top of trash on top of like the Trump administration on top of the possible next Trump administration on top of gaslighting. And that's just a 2.5. A 10 is the best thing you've ever heard in your life. It's like gold on top of diamonds, on top of platinum, on top of emeralds, on top of every precious stone known to man, and none of it is harvested and like mined through slave labor. It's all ethically sourced through grassroots movements and local worker controlled mines. It's the best thing you've ever heard, and that's just an 8.5. In short, not a lot of zeros, not a lot of 10s. Score accordingly. There's this thing called score creep, where as the night goes on, you know, we might be getting more into the vibes of the night. The poems start to sound better, and the scores start to go up. But that's not fair to the people who went first when you were like still mad about work and vibeless and didn't want to be here. So in order to warm you up and get you ready for judging, we're going to be giving you a sacrificial poet. They'll go before everyone else and you're going to still score them as if they are competing. Think of them as a calibration. So any poems you like more, score them higher. Any poems you don't like as much, score them lower. Lit. Word of the day. How could I forget? Word of the day, a time honored tradition. Ancestral gaslighting. Ancestral gaslight. Nobody who created word of the day is even dead yet. They aren't ancestors, they're our homies. Anyway, word of the day, a time honored tradition in which we force poets to jam a random word, courtesy of Merriam-Webster Dictionary, into their poem for an extra point during the first round. Today's word of the day is, and let me look at it because I already forgot. Today's word of the day is parable, which is a noun, and it is a usually short fictitious story that illustrates a moral attitude or a religious principle. For example, the biblical parable of the Good Samaritan. Poets, if you use parable or any of its forms like parables or any of its other forms, you get an extra point. Judges, don't worry about that extra point. Our scorekeeper and their magical spreadsheet will handle that for you. But what you can do is let us know in the chat whenever you hear word of the day. Some people say WOD, some people say WOD, word of the day, but it helps us keep track because sometimes we don't necessarily hear it. But yeah, lit. Cool, we have a number, 6 amazing poets that will be competing in this slam tonight. We have, going in this order, we have Chev, we have Colin, we have Miles, we have Mai, we have Seven, and we have Kelsey Daniels. Give it up for everyone who is going to be competing in the slam. Woo, ah. clap, clap. Wow. All right. Who's my sacrifice? Okay. We'll get there. I think that means we're ready to start the show. I guess technically we're ready. I'm not ready, but you're ready. You have been properly prepared to start the show. That means on deck we have Chef, but give maximum love to your sacrificial poet. Give it up for Reggie.
Woo! Go.
Ooh. When my brother tells me that Marva said that her pronouns are nigga, I felt that shit. Because my pronouns are nigga. My gender is a grape swisher and a 40 by noon. Is the whole hood up having a block party in front of the liquor store at 2 a.m. My gender says fuck the rules, fuck the oppressor, fuck anyone not from my block littered with binders and makeup. My gender will still fuck a bitch up without smearing my lipstick because my gender grew up fighting to survive. My gender knows curled fist and painted nail. Long pretty hair pulled back into a messy bun because I caught that nigga that was misgendering me on Facebook and I told him hands on sight. My gender knows to keep its hands in sight when shopping or walking or being stopped by the police, knows that my hashtag will always wear the wrong pronouns. My mother will always mourn a son. My gender will keep itself quiet so she doesn't lose a daughter too. My gender is a nigga that can't call itself trans because that always felt like a white word. Doesn't sit well on a Black tongue, doesn't get used in Black conversation or seen on Black television. So my gender has always been its own role model, has created space just for itself. My gender is a Black power fist at a pride parade. My gender says all cops are bastards. Yes, even the ones you are thinking of. Yes, even the queer ones. My gender knows how many gay cops murdered Black boys last year. Is a rainbow flag drenched in its own blood. My gender is first death, then a resurrection. Is the unraveling of a Black boy into something beautiful. My gender is graveyard and garden. Is headstone and headline and head hunt and head bowed and prayer. My gender is a prayer, which means my gender must be holy. My gender must be sacred. My gender must be God, which means my gender must be a nigga. It is, after all, the Blackest thing I have ever known. Oh my God, who was that poet? They're really cute. Somebody give me their number. Wow. That was your sacrifice, Reggie. Judges, send your scores on over to our scorekeeper, Alexis. This is the longest that we'll give you. So like by the middle of the poem, you know, like if it's like a, so like send those scores preferably before the end of the poem because we will be announcing that poet's score after the next poet. And speaking of next poets, on deck, we have Colin, but give maximum love to our first poet competing in the slam. Give it up for Chef.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
I'm gonna get on this TV, mama. No more chalk outline playing Twister with hopscotch court on sidewalk. No more home before them street lights. No more cop lights, only spotlights. Shining on me with the warmth of that smile you used to have. Notice when it kisses my pores, my melanin melts into a more privileged pigment. My blackness nearly fades away like the memory of memorial once a hashtag stops trending. So for my 15 minutes of fame, tell them I was no mere nigga. I was King James, 6'8", with a headband-shaped crown atop my waves, the New Testament to greatness, 23, across chest and back to represent the nearly restless, yet rigorous hours of daily repetitions that have synchronized my handle and heartbeat. Coach says there's no I in team. I tell him there's an I in survive, and if there's a better way to do that, I would love to know how. Until then, I'll be good. I'll shut up and dribble. I'll do it for Akron. Hell, I'll become akin to Atlas, sole purpose to hold this world up because mama needs a house and baby needs shoes, mouths need food, minds put through school, and after all, Republicans buy sneakers too, so I'll dance like Michael. I'll walk on the moon or water if need be. I'll be more parable than person, more story than history. I will be so damn respectable to only think to shoot at me with cameras. Remember those dances you used to make me do in front of all our family members. Remember how Uncle Sam always loved them the most. So I'm gonna be big, bigger than poor, bigger than black, bigger than hungry. Maybe even dad will come back and you'll never have to work that damn job again. And boy, haven't you seen the streets of Hollywood? Don't you know that these people make ritual of putting their stars in the ground? Don't you know that you are king already? Only when time to kneel to you, they do it on your neck, boy. In 1822, $1,200 to buy a slave his freedom. It is 2022, and 12 million would only buy you bigger chains. We've called it inflation. But the tax on black skin is way more than an appearance fee. The bill was stained with enough blood to cover your red carpet. Boy, don't you know you was raised in preparing for battle? Your heart is not a basketball, fool. It is a war drum playing a type of beat that sounds real good coming out of a bird cage. So line it with newspaper. When they try to make you a story, tell them their history. When they try to make you a savior, tell them that you are through dying for their sins. When they try to make you a star, tell them you're my sun, shining. But just because you always get up in the morning.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Chef. Woo.
Woo! Gang, 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 gang.
Okay. Lit. Let me see. Did I get scores? I think I did get scores. And I just didn't. Oh, damn it. It just slipped. It looks like our sacrifice got a score of a 27.3. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, not the points. Lit, 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 lit. On deck, we have Miles. But give maximum love to our next poet coming up on the mic. Give it up for Colin.
Oh, best friend.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
You can find the good news tattooed in the stucco of every home. Find gospel and candle wax spilling over the sidewalk. I see God in every roadside vigil. Every balloon sent up to the sky, a prayer that maybe Big D was good enough for the Lazarus treatment. Maybe the whole hood is worth a resurrection. You know, there's too many good folks dying in these streets. This can't be just God's retribution. So I have to believe that all my niggas are in a better place. That the prodigal son was more than just a parable and death is just a sinner's way of running back home. I have to believe that all my niggas were crucified like saviors and not thieves. That they all died like Jesus. And there will be a second coming of gold chains and fake designer belts. Call it the return of the Mac before Mac 10s burned down the block. I have to believe that every chalk outline was a miracle. Bullet and blood payment for safe passage to the promised land. Maybe death is a sermon and everyone in this neighborhood is a pastor, handing out holy hollow point to anyone who wants to meet the spirit, kind of like strapped up shepherds, guiding their flock to the light. And ain't that all what we looking for? Something brighter on the horizon. They say the sun don't shine in the ghetto or a casket. So heaven must be our first sunrise.
Gang, gang. Give it up for Colin.
Woo!
All right. And for reference, Chev got a 28.9. Fuck the score. Give it up for the poet. Never the points. The poet. Never the points.
Gang.
I'm gonna shout this out a couple more times today, but I do want to shout it out early. For those of you who may be watching who are based here in the Bay Area or close enough to drive to it, there is a show that we are supporting, run by a really good friend of ours. I'm like really excited that she was able to get the grant for this work. But Milani Pelly, if you remember from like, I almost said last semester because like I be teaching, but last year, late last year, we worked with Milani to help promote the writing workshops that she was doing for women in Berkeley. So there were sister circles specifically for Black women and women of color. And then there was the larger all women writing reality workshop. And she is having a showcase to showcase the work that went on in those workshops. And so that is going to be on March 5th at Spats Bar in Berkeley. The Eventbrite is in our Linktree, linktree.com/Rich Oak event for more information. I highly recommend her work. I believe oh my goodness, there's a lot of great readers that are going to be there, some of which have graced our stage, some of which will be gracing our stage later on in the month. But like, I'm really impressed with the work that has come out of that workshop, and really impressed with the work that Milani has been doing over the last few months, and really excited and honored that we've been able to support her in that work. So definitely check out our Linktree for more information. And I'll plug it a few more times during the show. So don't worry if you forget or didn't catch it. That being said, on deck, we have but give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Miles.
Thank y'all so much. Can I get a mic check before I start?
You got it.
We
can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hey y'all, look at my nigga Indecision over here. Couldn't even figure out how he wanted to present himself, so he settled on dusty, disheveled, walking around with busted ass Team Jordans on, dirtier souls even than the people who profited most from the purchase. Indecision, why you move like that anyway? Walk so stridently, talk with a mouthful of someone else's food, shirt untucked, but with none of the stylishness of intention, none of the courage to be tastemaker, to risk being called out your name, to risk being thought of as embodiment of the worst of all the other indecisions like you, so you just sit there. And Indecision, she'll be mad as hell too, because his cousin, Worry over here, is in the audience, leaving you to hang, dangling in white space like an incomplete modifier. Only, instead of being a particle that changes reality into parable, it just distorts. Worry wraps his wet paper bag lips around whoever unfortunate enough to be within range, and it just sucks the life out the party, sucks you into the off center of your navel, sucks like a vacuum that has run over a chipped green Lego. And he's over here now sucking on a chicken bone while I'm up here frying your ass. And Indecision, even now, you don't want to say nothing. Maybe not with your whole chest, but damn, my nigga, not even with a fraction of it. I've been knowing Indecision and Worry all my life now. They follow me from school to school, neighborhood to enclave, still on the same bullshit they've always been on. In the 6th grade, I had to whoop Worry's ass all across the stage of the Shakespeare Theater Company and use the white man's white boy's overconfidence to do it. It wasn't that hard, really. just wrapped his limp body around my fist and wailed. Oh, and would you just believe how much the theater goers loved my performance? And could you blame them? Think about the last time you watched an exorcism on stage, the last time you remember seeing justice done so matter-of-factly. When I was a junior in college, Indecision had to get his ass curb stomped too, right on 120th in Amsterdam, this time in front of fewer white people, admittedly, but there were some nosy stragglers, as there often are. Could you believe Worry had convinced me I couldn't watch a movie and answer some white man's questions at the end of it, convinced me to take a white woman's face at gaunt and hollow value, to see less of myself in the story and end with a resolution that a rewrite was unneeded. Yeah, so I had to beat that nigga ass too. And that's why he's looking up here all sheepish now. You two whole ass marks, cops, clowns, don't even deserve to be roasted over an open fire, but here I am, generous. In the multitudes I contain, I am so nice to you that I rain down fists upon your head, and I forgive you for not kissing my knuckles in the interim. Look at you. Look at all of us laughing at you. And look at me, my face, laughing at myself, crimson caked and splattered all over me. And it can't be my birthday yet because nobody's singing. But I do feel the gift you've given me anyway. And so I do all I can. And I blow and wail and blow upon your face. And I breathe and I blow some more. And isn't it funny? Why aren't you laughing? It's a roast and we all just joking, right? So why aren't you laughing? What's not so funny? Why is my anger no longer satire? How come you don't like being a punchline?
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Miles.
Woo!
And for reference, Colin got a score of a 29.3. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, never the point. The poet, never the points. Wonderful, wonderful. We are chugging right along. My phone locked, so I had to unlock it so I could see the list. On deck, we have 7, but give maximum love to our next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for my...
Mic check.
We can hear
Come
you.
on.
This is for drunk text to the devil. Hey, did you block my number? Why don't you call my phone anymore? How could you leave me in my own darkness? It's empty in here. Without you, it's not so comfortable. I remember the good old days. We'd spend nights making a mockery of humanity, spend days trading you panic attacks for pills and taking them as if they could save me. I miss the warm embrace of something so empty it could fill me. I miss the caress of bones so sharp they could kill me. I miss you. Sorry, I fell asleep. I'm not gonna stop. You can't keep avoiding me like this. I'm lonely out here. See, some days I think I'm happy and I honestly don't want you anymore. Some days I feel like I'm learning what God could feel like. I think I could be a person that doesn't enjoy drinking knives in the dark, someone that heals. I miss the way quicksand coated my throat and it felt safe. The way hail felt the same as gravity does usually. Miss the comfort of desperation, but then I remember how much you feel like home. How you know how to fill the space between my knees when I'm lying in bed, how to cloak me in sweet misery. You learned my dark edges and rough lines. You showed me the ropes of self-hatred and helped me pull any hope left out. You taught me how to be comfortable in the darkness, then left me in it. You taught me how to be this. Hey, could we talk? I feel like I'm losing myself. Feel like I'm drowning in who I used to be and who I want to or should be. Except sometimes I wonder if who I was is someone I should ever be again. Wonder if I should try blocking your number again. I think I'm starting to realize that I need to be someone new that doesn't know you. But like, I miss you and I want to hear from you. I miss having someone to call home. You've mastered temptation, learned to sell me bitter parables and trust. I got your voicemails. I miss you too. And I know, of course, I said that last time. It's just, I think I met myself. I looked in the mirror and you weren't there anymore. Felt like healing. Felt like I could imagine a God and she wanted me to be alive. It feels like maybe I could be a person that gets old and drinks coffee on the porch. Like maybe I could forget the feeling of sharp bones and drinking knives. Like maybe I could forget I ever needed you.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for my. Woo.
Woo!
Yes. All right. All right. I don't know if you've noticed, but like we're over halfway through this list and the writing's been like solid today. And one of the reasons why writing is so solid is because we have a writing workshop before our show. So if you would like to write with us, I would like to inform you that these writing workshops are free 99. Like, I don't know about you, but like there are not, and I do mean not, a lot of free writing workshops out there. So take advantage of what you can get, especially being led by the artists that we have lead our weekly workshops every week. Either the feature or one of our organizers hosts a workshop, and they're all really great. And some of the best work that ever touches this stage comes out of one of the workshops. So you should come. And we accept writers of all levels, of all experience, all styles. If you want a place to write and to make new friends, we'd love to write with you and also make new friends. So come on down. The Zoom link is always posted on our Instagram page at Berkeley Poetry Slam. So yeah, you can come write with us. You should come write with us. I hope to see you next week. Lit. So on deck, we have the last poet of the round, Kelsey Daniels. I didn't do Miles' score, did I? I did? Oh my God, you're confusing me. Did I or did I not? I did not. Okay. Miles got a 27.3. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, never the points. The poet, never the point. All right. On deck, we have the last poet of our first round, Kelsey Daniels. But give maximum love to our penultimate poet. Give it up for 7.
Went a ways into the woods, through the forest, beyond the trees, into the woods until the desert. Made a way into the desert, through the valley, beyond the sands, into the desert until a pool of water. Stolen away beyond the tribe, through subjugation, into a pool of water, shackled. Cast aways into the ocean, through the river, beyond the sea, into the ocean until a school of black bodies. Drift aways into a school of black bodies, through the middle passage, beyond colonization, into a school of black parables in the cotton fields. Run a ways beyond strange fruit, through tobacco leaves, into cotton fields, singing for freedom, swing low, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home, struggle a ways into freedom, through Jim Crow, beyond civil rights, into freedom until justice. Find a way into justice through conscious movement, beyond affirmative action, into justice until Black Lives Matter. Let's go a ways beyond social media, through love and peace, into Black Lives Matter. until Black lives matter.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for 7.
Oh,
And for reference, Mai got a score of a 29.7. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, never the points. Lit. On deck, we have our featured Tianna Bratcher. If you don't know who they are, well, I mean, that's why you're here, to find out. So I'm glad that you're here for this learning experience, because like, we don't fault you for not knowing, but like, we're gonna fault you if you don't take the opportunity to learn, because Tiana is one of my favorite people to ever feature at a Rich Oak event. And you're going to see why. I don't even need to, I'm not gonna spoil anything. You'll find out why. But give maximum love to our last poet of the first round. Give it up for Kelsey Daniels.
Woo! Mic check.
We can hear you.
So picture this. It's November 2020, shortly after JoJo and them won, yay democracy. And this white man tags me in a Facebook post thanking me and other Black women for being local. Stacey Abrams and Karen, that's a real name, comments. I want Black women to run this country, then I'll be at peace. So who's finna tell her? Because clearly I don't give off unfriendly Black hottie enough, and these white women still think I'm safe and not a grown titty woman whose areolas are not Felice. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies or nursing a nation. Pamela, parable me not, this pussy don't pop for platitudes. I know how quickly these compliments turn contracts. Black women are not your anti-racism manuals or your gateway drugs empathy. Unhand me, Caroline. I am Kelsey O. Daniels. The O stands for Olivia, but today it's oh, bitch, let me tell you. I have learned to say my name with oomph. Like it leaving my lips may be the last time it is drenched in knowing and a love that holds all of me valuable, no proof of utility needed. Riddle me this, Rebecca. Why does your intersectional feminism look like a one-way street? You have learned the language and left the lesson. You want Black women to run this country so you can punch up, as if America ain't been trying to drag us down for centuries. Oh, Susan. I know an op when I see one, and an uninspired one at that. If all you and your sisters have to offer the world in your failure is a pink pussy hat parade, what makes you think you deserve any rest? You're not even putting in the effort to drag me into servitude. It's giving delusional, sweetie. And even in this, the most unsafe white women are the ones who think this poem is not about them, othering themselves out of their privilege and my oppression, those who pledge allegiance to my leadership, as long as it doesn't make them uncomfortable. Because when push comes to shove, all they will have to offer my movement is tears and symbolic gestures. I do not exist to be a captain, save a white lady. No Karen's backdoor work orders against me shall prosper, baby. If I did run this country, I'd be too busy reclaiming my peace to give a fuck about a Karen.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Kelsey. All right, and for reference, 7 got a score of a 27.6. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, not the points. Do we have Kelsey's score? I mean, no pressure if we don't, because that was like just a second ago. But if we have that score, I can announce it now. Yes, it looks like Kelsey got a perfect 30. Give it up for the poet. Still never the points. The poet, still never the points. Yes. Gang, gang. Lit. Oh my God. I'm so excited for this feature. Two things I'm going to say about this feature before I get into the bio. We are long overdue for featuring Tiana again. I said it in the workshop, I'll say it now. I don't want that to happen again. We can't wait this long. And then the second is the last time Tiana featured at an event that we ran, it was Oakland Slam. And it was the largest turnout to an Oakland Slam ever. She completely rocked the house, sold hella their chapbooks, blew everyone away. I think somebody once hit us up for like your name to look up your work and other ways to support you because they saw you at the show, forgot about like your name, and then thought to hit us up like months later. Like people remember you and that feature. And you'll see why. But I'm gonna read this bio. Tianna Bratcher, she is Black, queer, gender fluid poet, performance and teaching artist. As a slam poet, they placed fifth at the National Poetry Slam 2017 and seventh in the world at the Women of the World Poetry Slam 2020. Their work appears or is forthcoming in the Shade Journal, Voicemail Poems, December Magazine, Stellium Magazine, My Soul Has Grown Deep Anthology, and elsewhere. Currently, they are studying to be a birth worker, creating collage art, and pole dancing. In her free time, she enjoys watching Steven Universe, creating film reviews, and admiring trees. I need y'all to give a round of applause to our feature for the night, Tianna Bratcher.
Hi, thank you so much for that beautiful intro. I'm so happy to be here with y'all at Berkeley. Thank you for the time because I just was about to ask. Yep. Cool. So Berkeley is near and dear to my heart as a venue. You know, came to Berkeley Slam early on in my slam and poet journey. So when I was asked to do this feature, I felt it only be right that I bring all new poems. I hope that's okay with y'all. Some of these are drafts. Some of these are still being edited, but I want to share with y'all what I have been working on. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. This first poem is titled In Defense of the Tampon String. In the club with the cum-crusted leather chairs and beer-stained carpets, my uniform is plucked and pruned. Buckled lip doll, fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. Cotton stuffed lips, no bleeding, wear pleasers, be pleaser, be quiet, be ravishing, be slick salivating, be every man's hunger. They're all starving here. I simmer around the stage until the tension boils, then lie back, pull ankles to ears, and prepare to be engorged. A man recoils at the sight of my spread, points at the white strand dangling from my G-string before crumpling my livelihood back into his wallet. Because, you know, men don't like the taste of blood they haven't spilled. So that was the first poem. Thank you. So I've been writing through, you know, trauma. So I want to give a trigger warning for this piece that I'm about to share for violence against women. What I think is important to know about this piece, it is titled Fragments of Consciousness. And again, a draft, you know, we're working through. However, what I think is important to know about this poem is the title, and that I am trying to capture these very particular moments of consciousness as I am drifting in and out. All right. Blurred vision, dark night, no tongue, no scream, pitch black, can't see face, only soul, shoelace, blunt force, head underfoot, mouth loud, mouth blood, mouth kicked shut, blackout. It is 3 a.m. and I cannot see past my fear. Each face blurs into the next. The hand always looks like a hand in concrete, always feels like concrete. Do you know what unconsciousness feels like? An eternal night, nothing for as far as you can see, unlike dreaming, unlike not remembering, blackout. I don't want to remember. Blackout. What is it gonna change? The details of his face. Will you put him on a wanted poster? I mean, who am I to call for a mob when I still love my father? You love a man who has unfastened his tongue and lashed it at a woman. Or you love a man who speaks with his fist. Or you love a man who chooses not to hear you scream. Or you love a man. We are all unfortunate that way. Blackout. I killed a man once and 3 more appeared in his place. You say that's cliche. I say you've never had to fight back. Blackout. I'm sorry, but I just can't remember. His face, forever, a mystery. His hands, forever, a haunting. I want to remember. I want to tell you about the lust for my blood in his eyes, but all I see is blackout. I am unconscious on my mother's bathroom floor until the urgency in everyone's voice brings me to blackout. I am in an emergency room and the lights are too bright. I am just beginning to miss the darkness when blackout, x-rays, CAT scan, Band-Aids, Percocet. I almost don't remember my name, and that's good. I don't really want to be me anymore. Hope when I look into the mirror, I have grown into a new shell, a new armor. Make me a weapon this time. I can't really feel my tongue. I take a moment to pray that it is gone for good before I black out. The nurse says next time, I shouldn't say anything. I should be quiet, mouthless, gutless, says I should not put my fist up even though I was hit first. I want to tell her about the rocks he threw and how I think his sneakers were white and how he asked for my number before all this, and the men that just watched, and the men that helped him, and the men that followed me home, and the men that grabbed me, and the men that try to swallow me whole, and the men that split my skin, and the men who paint their faces in my blood, but I guess God thought I shouldn't have my tongue either. Blackout. I am nothing but dust and blood on the bottom of a man's shoe. Blackout. I am a girl with just a little too much rage in her mouth. Blackout. I am a riot. Blackout. Where do girls go to just be girls? Blackout. I am prey, a hunted animal. Blackout. I am on the ground under his foot praying for death. Blackout. I am in the back seat of my sister's car learning that I am still alive.
Let's fucking go.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I think I might have time for 2 more. Y'all just tell me when to be quiet.
Your poems have been pretty short. You got time for like 3 more.
Okay, thank you. This one might take some time. So I'm gonna try something out a little bit. This poem is titled Interview While Waiting for a Breathing Treatment. And I guess I could give a little bit of back story. So I got asthma. I have had asthma since, the lungs were birthed, since, I was given this body. One time I had an asthma attack when I was living in Oakland, and the whole ordeal of getting seen was a mess. They made me walk through a metal detector. Then they made me sit in the waiting room while I'm literally having an asthma attack. And they were like, you have to wait, we're helping other people. And I'm like, well, babe, I'm literally dying, but I don't know what to tell y'all. And can't tell you anything because I can't breathe. And finally somebody sees me, and as they're setting up the breathing treatment, they're asking me all of these questions. And I don't know if y'all have asthma or know anything about asthma, but like when you're having an asthma attack, you like literally cannot breathe. So like talking is just, not a thing. And she's asking me all of these questions, like, how long have you been experiencing these symptoms and like all of these things? And I'm like, yo, this is so wild. Like the way that y'all are literally playing with my life right now. So this poem is titled Interview While Waiting for a Breathing Treatment. How long have you had these symptoms? Something always has my breath in its claws. I have never inhaled with ease. What caused this attack? Sometimes my body decides to do what I cannot. Are you allergic to anything? These questions can be answered if you give me the treatment. Do you have insurance? In the crevices of every sidewalk, there are centuries of blood. Is that not payment enough? I'm sorry, can you repeat that? No. What is your current address? Here, with the white lights, this may be the last place I ever live. What is your family history? Everything wrong with our blood and lungs we got from bondage. I meant medical, cancer, lupus. No one can breathe. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tight is your chest? I've never known my pain to change anything. Are you experiencing any pain? Only when the air is trying to enter or escape. All right.
Woo!
Okay. Cool. One more. Cool. Good.
Yeah, you got time for like
Yes.
one more.
Okay. It's a little shorter. In the dream, the golden hour residue slips through a hole in the sheet tacked to the window. Tiny light rays bounce off my face, making the blood of my almost murderer glisten on my cheek and Cupid's bow. So close to tasting vengeance, my tongue begins to throb. On the carpet, he is face down, whimpering. Both Achilles severed, I bind his hands with the laces of his Nikes. Lie next to him, feather his beard with my dagger. Please, I have a daughter, he says. I know, my hand a blanket on his mouth. That is why I must. Thank you. Perfect timing.
Woo!
Let's go.
Ugh.
Thank you.
I'm not muted. I can't speak. Tino can attest to this. I spent your entire feature screaming at my laptop. Every other line. Ah! My neighbors probably hate me, but like, God, oh my God. I knew, like, I don't think like I've heard like much of your poetry since the pandemic. And your pen game was fucking strong in 2019. I was afraid to slam against you back then. I'm fucking terrified now. What? You're talking, this is a draft. Really a draft? Because it blew me away. That's more than a draft. That's a gale, hurricane force wind there. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much.
If our audience is as blown away as I am by your work, how can they best support you?
Absolutely. So you can, we work for tips. So you can send me money via Cash App, which is Cash Bratch. That's cash with a K, BRATCH, spelling. Venmo is TBRATCH. I can also drop all of these in the chat to be shared. And then I can also drop my Instagram, which is where I post any shows, any upcoming shows that I may have. And you can support me by attending those or sharing those as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really appreciate y'all for holding these poems, asking me to be here and allowing me to share my new work. I was very nervous, so thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad we were able to have you. Oh my goodness. I'm almost just like, okay, the show is over. They shut it down. Whew. Oh my goodness. Let's take a collective breath for a second before we get into this second round. I feel like I gotta reset. I'm all like, whew, shaken, stirred. I don't know. And rocked. There we go. Shaken, stirred, and rocked. There we go. Lit. Whew. All right, so we got round 2 of our slam, the money round. Normally we take 5 poets. We only had 6 poets. We are not assholes. We are not gonna just say, you didn't make the cut. And it's just you by your lonesome. You're gonna have a buddy if we gonna cut somebody. So we're taking all 6 poets into the second round. And they will go in reverse order of appearance. Please, for the love of God, tell me that it's in my host checklist. It is, okay, I think I can get this. I can read upside down. I'm smart. No, I'm not smart. I'm in my bimbo rebrand. I'm helpless. Let's see. But according to my research, on deck, we have 7. We give maximum love to our first poet of the second round. Give it up for Kelsey Daniels.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
Do you know that you are loved? that this love we got for you can stretch you without hell and shame, can feel God and full moon and sand. You do not have to keep your pain pressed down and shaken, run over. Open your throats. Do not hold back blessing. You can't game God. You don't choose destiny, not because you're a wretch and unlovable, but you don't even know all the possible that could ever possible. Did you ever even see yourself here, baby? The how was never any of your business. Get clear on your why, the assignment if you choose to accept love anyway. Dream hard. Prayer circle when all you want to do is sleep yourself into numb. We be fence all around you every day. This unconditioned means that there ain't nothing that separates you from God and good. The call is always coming from inside the house. You are the home in the heaven. The baby you thought you were healing is cheering you on. You've been carrying her picture around in your phone, telling yourself you were sending back the belief you deserve, then never once considered she was Sankofa you back, telling you that you are the secret wish her heart made to be big on purpose. You've been carrying her wonder, bright side. She needed to see the world from full, and you gave her that, put her in places to get a hug back. She is here. Hold your hand when you need comfort. Let her guide you. Tomorrow, you'll be rooting for all the shit you do today, the labor of you give up freely, the soul work that doesn't feel like anything but air, the difference between gas chamber and ocean breeze. You don't always think your words matter, but you are a world builder. Fragmenting maps in micro notes, Instagram stories, and conversations. Your dreams return because it is a code only you can crack. Trust them. The hate will keep coming. Discern, listen. We are always here. You may have to wait, but we'll come. It is a remember that has kept you here. Hold all of it and keep going. You are getting to free. We see it so bright and full. We don't miss. Remember that storms come, but we don't miss when you leave. It'll be time, but while you are here, give where you get. Gather. Book the departing flight. Let us order the other steps. Be smart and hold space for the miracles you are expecting. Start by acknowledging all the ones that already happened. Give the babies the sacred of you. Look for aunties that look out for you and own. Don't be afraid to see love in spaces it ain't supposed to be. Don't let deluded rob you of any room. Use your whole toolkit. Keep your heart, Kels. What do you root in? Where can love find a forwarding address? Be still every now and then. We do not give you yourself to torture you. This gift is not transaction. You know the other side well, so water here, 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 and you are worthy of here, loved here, welcomed here, and home here. Do you know the crown that you gave yourself when you picked up your grandmother's call and named yourself, and she's here? You wrote the vision, baby. You already wrote it. Return.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Kelsey Daniels.
Woo!
All right. Yeah. Once again, I'm going to shout out the show that we are supporting. Milani Pelly is doing a showcase of the work that has been produced in the workshops that she was running during the winter last year. It is going to be at Spats March 5th. Spats in downtown Berkeley. It's going to be really great. It's a bunch of amazing poets. Spats is an amazing venue. Milani is an amazing host, workshop facilitator. There's an amazing DJ. So like, if you're not going, I'll say it like this: if you're not going, you better be home. That's it. You better be at work or at this show. We got an understanding. All right. So that was probably the worst transition I've ever done. But we're gonna roll with it. On deck, we have but give maximum love to the next poet coming up to the mic. Give it up for 7.
Black love is. Black love is beautiful as a Black mother's love, deep, unmoving, buoyant. Black love is earth hue corneas creating galaxies. Black love is ebony seducing moonlight, midnight kisses holding the brightness of day. Black love is beautiful. Black love is, Black love is, Black love is inspirational. The dream of Martin, building a civil future right for Black people. Black love is the wisdom of Malcolm, smart enough to question authority and acknowledge the continuous change in self and others. Black love is the audacity of the Black Panthers, ensuring space for hope, thriving through the depths of racial warfare, raise fists thunder with pride. Black love is inspirational. Black love is, Black love is, Black love is unforgettable. Rhythms within rows of slaves' ships, oars dip past sinking brown bodies, swallowing freedom. Black love is trailblazing, underground railroad family freeing, still saving massa from his self-love. Black love is feet praising in syncopation, stepping until ancestors' bones resurrect from our sweat. Black love is unforgettable. Black love is, Black love is, Black love is. Happy Black History Month.
Woo! Gang. Give it up for 7. Ooh. Lit. Let me see if I have other scores. And Kelsey got a 27.0. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, not the points. All right. Let's see. I need to stop closing this list. One of these days, I promise you, one of these days, one of these slams, I'm going to have the list pulled up and when I need it. One of these days. Today's not it. Today is not the day. But one of these days, I promise you, I promise. But now that I have the list, I have to read it. On deck, we have Miles. We'll give maximum love to our next poet coming up to the stage. Give it up for Mike.
Woo!
Mic check.
Let's go, poet. We can hear you.
Ode to water in 5 parts, in honor of all of the atoms in my body that wish to live. 1. Today, I only had to get out of bed twice, and that was admirable. Today, the withdrawals were half as bad as yesterday. Yesterday's the second day into avoiding 6 feet deep. 8 ODs the way we got here in the first place, though. At the emergency room, they give me at least a gallon of water. It probably saved me, still left a bitter taste in my mouth, though, throat still dry, still thirsting for more contaminated pill-taking water, still full of 1 too many gallons of water. I'd like to think this was my choosing, but only my dilated pupils and the gods know the truth of the matter. 2. I read my rights every morning and night with my meds. The nurse usually checks my tongue by the 3rd paragraph of the introduction, so this is my introduction. I'm an addict. My rights include claimed humane treatment and access to a telephone. My rights do not include drawstrings, shoelaces, or peace of mind. I am nameless psych ward patient in room 1305. No allergies, no. The man across the hall stares at me too long for comfort, so I tell someone. The nurses tell me I am mistaken, but I wonder how many times I have been mistaken for water. Mistaken for a body that moves whenever it is pushed, mistaken for a body that drowns itself in itself, mistaken for a body that does not know the word no. 3. I only had to read my prayers 5 times today. 4 positions I fell asleep in, then cried 3 days straight, still too queer for nurses to spit out my real name. I will drown their mouths in this water until they can cough up the sound of a name so holy it can never come from scratchy throated mouths again. And for the first time in a while, I don't feel like dying. That's 50 times I've half fallen in love with the idea of living for chapel pews rot until I come home to them. They wait for the day I can finally feel at home in a seat made for worship. I hear hymns of healing. Still not enough to have saved me the last 12 times. The sermon ended with mention of a river, a stream only the mud could find, so I became the mud, had to seek out every piece of me in hopes of getting it back. I haven't found all of me yet. I'm still trying. I've learned to pray, head straight, eyes open, arms anywhere, the way I feel something all around me, hoping it's not something sour. 5. Now I'm starting to wonder how many times I can be mistaken for water. How many times I can shapeshift into whatever you need me to be. I wonder how many times you'll fold this body. While pipes grow around me and I shrink and I shrink and I shrink and I am barely water, more pieced together than peaceful, still barely water. Maybe that's the truth though. Maybe I am water. Maybe I'm ocean though. Maybe I'm tsunami. Maybe I can be a body that does not know forgiveness.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for mine.
Woo! Lit. And do I have 7 score? No worries if I don't. I mean, obviously I don't have the score. Lit. And 7 for referrals. Got a 28.2. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet. Never the points. The poet. Never the points. Alrighty then. I still did not have the damn list pulled up. I need to get it together. Okay, we got it together. On deck, we have Colin. But give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Miles.
Woo! Thank you, y'all. Can I get one last mic check?
We can hear you.
This is entitled Annotations on a Letter to a Nephew, and it's after James Baldwin. My dungeon shakes, rattles, rolls, and diddy bops. I too come from sturdy stock. Women who quilted families together into silk slip knots. Men who dammed rivers and anything else they could magic their hands on, artichoke hearts or wet cement or white women's overpriced luggage. And in the teeth of the most terrifying odds, taught their children that their dignity was not something to be achieved, but something they were bestowed upon opening their eyelids for the very first time. See, you come from a great long line of poets, writers who would eat their ellipticals around Homer. And one of them said, you can only be destroyed by believing that you really are what the white world calls a nigger. I tell you this because I love you, and please don't forget it. He is correct that that can destroy you, and incorrect in that it's not the only. You can just as softly be undone by believing what the white world calls a boy, or a family, or an act of compassion, or a world even. Another of them said, the very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook, my chains fell off. And should you not be quite so serendipitous, remember that the world is not a meritocracy, that the highest leaper is somewhere with a plastic weight around their Achilles, that the world's best chef rings lemons in a crowded desert, that people find purpose in life in the bleakest confinement, that you come from a long line of lovers. People who, in the clenched jaws of a Janus-faced monster, love themselves raw, love the black that cursed the river, love the glint of the moon off the curse floating, right there in the water where the savior should be, saw what salvation provided and doubled down on wickedness. One of them kissed purple paisley raindrops into the atmosphere and declared, I mean, we don't have to make children to make love. And we don't have to make love to have an orgasm. And I say this as a nigga who loves you, please don't forget to put your back in it. Love is the only way out, so make sure when you do, you move with a little sway in your hip, with whatever you need in your dungeon, where and whenever they may be, so you shake it a different time signature than that white world that would have you believe in a God that didn't make you whole before you got here.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Miles. Woo! And for reference, Mai got a, ooh, Jesus, I cannot see. Mai got a score of a 27.3. Fuck the scores, give it up for the poet and never the points. The poet and never the points. All right. Ooh. On deck, we have Shep. We give maximum love to our penultimate poet of the night. Give it up for Colin.
Woo! Can you hear me?
We got you.
I wish that gentrification worked under the rules, regulations, and procedures of the hood. Imagine for every motherfucker saying, oh my gosh, I just got here from Boston. There was a motherfucker to say, I don't care where you from, you can still run these hands. Imagine a hipster in the hood. No, the real hood, where niggas dogfight at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. Imagine this motherfucker walking home on a Friday night. You know, they say that hood niggas can smell a mark from a mile away and his body is still rank with the smell of IPAs and expensive hair gel. I bet he thinks he holds the world in his hands, at least until he gets robbed. Handmade leather shoes thrown upon a telephone wire to remind you that this is still our neighborhood. We have to rock our kids to sleep to the sounds of bullets and gunfire. And your dumb ass want to walk your dog at 2 a.m. Quick question. Do you want to die, Becky? Once your blood spilt on the same streets as those niggas, my niggas, how can you walk so carelessly through a graveyard like you just want to step on a dead body, take it home and tell your family you're just cleaning up the neighborhood? Sometimes I wish my city was just as dangerous as every Black movie in the 90s makes it out to be. And maybe my block would still look like me. My home look less like a ghost. What does home look like when you're redlined out of the same neighborhood you were redlined into in the first place? I mean, my childhood house is now in a neighborhood that's too rich for Black people to live there anymore. So yes, I wish it was still dirty, still grimy, still had blood caked to the sidewalks. I wish my city still had flesh caught between its teeth, blood dripping from a snarling mouth as a message, a reminder, hell, a warning, to stay the fuck out.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Colin. Woo.
Woo!
All right. On deck, we have finding out who won all of this money. But give maximum love to our last. Oh shit, I didn't do the last post score. Boo. Boo yourself. Don't boo me. I am not booable. I'm already booed up. Okay. But Miles got a 26.4. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, not the points. All right, on deck, we are finding out who's getting all of this cash money taking over for the 99 and the 2000s. Let's give maximum love to our last poet of the night. Give it up for Chef.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
We hear you.
Dr. King once said, that if it falls your lot in life to be a street sweeper, you go forth and sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures, like Beethoven composed music, the way Shakespeare wrote poetry. You be the best at whatever you are. You take pride in your work. Because depression comes when there's no pride left to take. You see, 23 years ago, it felt a lot to be a nigga. 3 years ago, it felt to be a dropout. 2 years ago, it felt to be homeless. I felt a lot. I starved so much, my body turned broomstick hell. I cried so much, my body turned mop pit. Felt a lot to be a poet. I slammed for food money, sometimes in packed venues, most times in packed train cars, all times in ugly mirrors, just trying to see myself good at something. I felt in love with my train car stage. Some days I wanted to stand on the tracks and give it a kiss at full speed. I Michelangelo to smile to my jaw that felt like graffiti, hoping to be arrested for vandalism because they served 3 meals a day in prison. I performed in only the most gentrified of areas to avoid anyone I knew, places where everybody's favorite poem just somehow black kids dying, painting strange. The only way I knew they'd feed the starving artists, so I took notebooks back into the trees they hung from, hoping people keep me, hoping that the fire would keep me warm at night. A white woman hands me $1. She turns to her daughter and tells her I'm the most talented bum she's ever seen. Better than every hoodlum rapper on this train yesterday, and I wonder how pretty I must have made both of our best sound. Wondered if plucking bodies from pavement to make my meal make me a street sweeper or some kind of vulture, but my thoughts keep getting drowned out by the growl in my gut saying get through the poem. That night, 2 guys put a knife on me in the subway, and I became jealous of my shadow. I was able to disappear in times of darkness. They left nothing but darkness in my pockets after taking my pride, my cell phone, and some white woman's dollar. Do you know what it is to lose everything when you already had nothing? The police asked me if I was on my way home at the time of the robbery, and I don't know how to tell them that this was a home invasion. That I'm so broke, I'm broken into, that this body be larceny stolen from a person with reason to live, that I am a street sweeper in a desert and the dust in my lungs that made it too hard to pray. And all Dr. King got to say is no matter what you do in life, you better do it like 3 white men. Capitalism say you look like the most talented vulture we've ever seen. My stomach say, boy, get through this fucking poem. If you got a star in someone else's, and my pride is saying, stop apologizing for staying alive, because sometimes sweeping streets feels a lot like cleaning caskets. The first draft of this poem was a train car kiss. It was a suicide note written on an ugly mirror because depression came, and there was no pride left to take. If you threw a brick through the windows of my soul, you wouldn't have found shit but time and a pen. So why not write myself a future? When I write myself here in front of all of you, write the eulogy of everything that has ever tried to kill me. It is a title, boy, you ain't Beethoven, you music. You're not Shakespeare, just the poetry. You're not Michelangelo. You are all the pride that comes with finding all the art within yourself, even on the days when you have to tell yourself, I'm the best at whatever I am. And it's just alive.
Gang, gang, gang. Give it up for Chef.
Woo! Woo!
All right, and Colin got a 28.5. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, not the points. Whew. Wow. Let's see. Now that let me see. Can I get Chef's score? Do we have it? I know it's early. I'm asking a lot.
Hey babe, is there something you want to plug for next month? What's happening
What's happening next month?
in Berkeley?
In Berkeley, there's something happening in Berkeley.
Yeah, Ashby Art Space.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I'm laughing because I was thinking about this show earlier. But for those of y'all who might have remembered, right before Omarion crip walked all over the Bay Area, we started a new show, The Poetry Garden at the Ashby Art Space on Ashby and what is that, Adeline?
Yeah.
Ashby and Adeline in Berkeley, and we are back there next month, March 12th, with an incredible lineup of poets, more information will be forthcoming. The promotion for that is going up tomorrow, so you're getting the pre-warning, like new show alert, you know, turn it on. Do we have chefs for?
That's all I have to do.
Oh, I have our lineup. So the only people who watch this stream know the lineup. There's a lot of D's in this month. Wow. Attack of the D's. And you'll see why. We have Damani Thomas reading. We have Dog Days Are Over. We have Bambi. We have Diana Medina, and we have Darius Simpson. So it's a killer lineup. Let's see. I still don't have scores. Chev's score was a 29.8. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet, not the points. The poet, not the points. All right. Now that we have all the scores and we're just waiting on the final tally, first of all, tonight was hella fucking lit. Everybody was fucking fire. We had a fire feature, and we would love it if you all came back. So let me tell you about the other shows that we run. Of course, right here every Wednesday, here on Le Zoom. We are the Berkeley Poetry Slams. Fingers crossed. We'll have some news next month. So keep an eye out. Can you send me those rankings with the total score as well? I think you took the round 2 scores. Make sure it's the cumulative scores. For some reason, it does the round ranking and the total ranking. And that's like the most confusing thing ever.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it'll be the round rank and the slam rank. We want the slam rank.
Okay. Okay, that's my total.
Look, the spreadsheet.
Oh.
The spreadsheet.
Oh no, I just can't do math. I just cannot do math. Okay, this is why we have a spreadsheet, because my mental math is not actually mental. It is straight out of my ass. Lit. What was I going to say? So we're here every Wednesday. Wonderful. Check out Berkeley Slam on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for more information on how to sign up. Oakland Slam is every third Tuesday. On Zoom. You can go to Oakland Slam on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook for more information on how to sign up. We have the Alchemy Open Mic every first and third Saturday on Instagram, Rich Oak Alchemy, for more information. Who is our feature next week? Our feature next week is Alicia Wires. So I didn't know that. I found that out today because I don't do booking, and I also like don't pay attention to meetings. I try, but that what Alicia, oof. I was like, you should come back next week. It's going to be lit. So I have scores. So in third place with a 57.3, give it up for Kelsey Daniels.
Thank you.
there anything you'd like to say to the peoples?
Thank y'all. See y'all next week.
See you next week. Thank you. In second place with a 57.8, give it up for Colin.
Gang. Thanks,
Anything you'd
y'all.
like to say to the peoples?
I'ma smoke a blunt. I'ma smoke a blunt. Smoke a blunt. Smoke a blunt. Nah, I saw all my niggas dancing in the background. I fuck with y'all.
It's definitely better than the open mic song. So
First of all, the open mic song was fucking fire. Check out the Alchemy open mic whenever, like, I really just don't care if y'all show up at any other time, but when I am hosting, we do the open mic song and it's fucking lit.
that's the girlfriend's theme song. That's what that was. But anyway, thank you so much, Colin. We will see you at a later junction. I don't know, next week. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Who knows? Thank you. And that means, oh geez.
You got the Rona?
No, I choked on my
I think they got the chronic.
Excuse me. No, we're not doing this. Well, no, we are not bullying me. Can you spotlight me? No, it was me. Yeah. So busy talking shit. Is it dying? Wow, I am not dying. You're dying, Kim. Wow, they are getting on me. Wow. Do you see this? I'm being cyberbullied. Facebook, come help. But we're not here for that. In first place, with a 58.7, give it up for Shay. Anything you want to say to the people?
I wish I had a blunt, but now that I won this money, I can cop tomorrow.
Period. Yo. That slam money. The slam money to weed money pipeline.
Weed and DoorDash. Only be weed and DoorDash.
Oh my God. Look, I had to stop ordering from Uber during the pandemic when I realized I was spending like all of my money on Uber Eats.
Reggie, you were ordering McDonald's McNuggets at 2 a.m.
Unashamed. But like when I looked at like how much money I was spending there a month, I was like, this is unacceptable. Like, y'all lucky I ain't got shit else to spend this money on because I'm bored in the house and in the house bored. But yeah, we overcame. So just like these poets overcame these hurdles in order to compete in this slam. My segues have been, we're gonna work on those. We're gonna, my segues do need a sponsor. Somebody go to patreon.com/richoak-events and tomorrow there will be a tier to sponsor my segues. And for $1 a month, you get to choose what segues that I use in a slam this year. Patreon.com/richoak-events, everybody. But I have been Reggie. This has been the Berkeley Poetry Clusterfuck. Remember to get vaccinated, get boosted, and I don't know, like, hug somebody that you like that consents to the hug. Consensual hugs. Yes, find someone to consensually hug. It's not me, but find someone for you to consensually hug. And we will see you all next week.
I'm so disheartened right now. Give me 1 second.